Hey everybody, Rob Goody here of the MLM Solution. How you doing today? Today is Friday, Freelance Friday. Friday. Today is one of our favorite days. Everybody likes these episodes. You never know what we're going to talk about on Freelance Friday, and today's going to be no exception. Today is March 19th. It's currently 10:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as you know, as you can see in the ticker, each and every day, we go live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you will, join Marie and I and the animals over there, that way, which are with me each and every day. Go ahead and join us all as we cover all things network marketing, good, the bad, and yes, even the ugly. As you have learned, we talk about the things other people will not even touch. And the reason they're afraid to talk about those subject matters is because if they did and you learned about these things, they're afraid you will not join the network marketing industry, and more specifically, you would not consider joining their business. Guys, you have a right to know this information. It will empower you, not scare you. It will help you to avoid the pitfalls of this industry, and that is why we do it. So with that being said, you can join Miss Marie and I each and every day, especially today at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you will, if you need to find us, use hashtag the MLM Solution, hashtag the MLM Solution, and share that hashtag with our fellow network marketers so they can join us each and every day at 11 a.m. as well. And they can find us on our other social media platforms. And finally, visit our website. It's new and improved. Our website, themlmsolution.net. You can go there, a lot of great information, a lot of freebies. You're not going to find this information in the freebies anyplace else. We have a great assortment of information there, everything you need to know and everything you need tool-wise to build this business correctly. All right, with that being said, I'm going to hop off of here and we'll get this thing rolling.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Goody.
Hello, Miss Marie. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Today's Friday, March 19th, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, here we are on episode number 45, Miss Marie.
You almost said 85.
I did.
That's really long.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of scary to think. Woohoo! Number 45. It's hard to believe it's been 45. I'm just, that number's got to be wrong. I mean, I've had so much fun. I don't even know. It doesn't seem like it's been 45 weeks.
Yep. 45 Fridays of fun and excitement.
I didn't think we could cover that many subjects. The relevant subjects. Let's put it to you that way.
Yeah, well, that's why we have the Freelance Fridays. It gives us an opportunity to make stuff up for a minute.
That's right. Exactly. And speaking of Monday's topic, guys, personal accountability is going to be Monday's topic. You do not want to miss that. Join us, as you know, as we stream live to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Guys, join us at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please share our YouTube channel and our Facebook page with our fellow network marketers by utilizing hashtag the MLM Solution, and let them come and join us on personal accountability. Guys, that is really important. It's hard to perform at the highest level each and every day without having a mentor, without having an accountability system. Someone that you can trust, someone that you depend on, someone that you will hold your feet to the fire. We're going to talk about that on Monday because it is critical to your success. It is. Look, this can be a hard, daunting task of building a successful networking business. Anybody can build a failed network marketing business. That's easy to do, but doing it, building a successful one can be a daunting task. And you know what? You got to have somebody there to help you out. And Miss Marie, as we all know, having a significant other in life helps you make that daunting run of 85 to 100 years that we all call life much easier sometimes, right?
No, absolutely. And it makes it worth living too. You know,
That's
you have
right.
a little bit of excitement in there, the opportunity to provide for your family, the opportunity to attain some goals, maybe get some time
Yeah,
freedom.
yeah. You know,
Yes.
it's funny you bring that up because they do bring excitement and all that. The significant other that you have. I remember, as I reflect back on my life, a lot of the women that I dated were damaged women. And I don't mean like in a bad thing, like alcoholics, drug, but I mean women that had an edge. You know what I'm saying? Because it made it fun. It made it exciting. I did not like boring, you know, and some of them I needed to stay away from. They were too damaged. And I'm not pointing the finger to them because, look, I bring the same thing to the table. You hang out with me, you'll realize, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're all just a little bit special.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Yeah, I do not want to point a finger at those women. They were fun women. I do not hang around with ding dongs, and they were fun women, great women. They brought a lot to my life, and I mean that sincerely. I'm not backpedaling, and I don't give a crap about today's political environment. When you're talking about somebody, you know what? They were fun. There were some in there that Miss Marie I needed to stay away from. They were not good for me. You know, we all date somebody like that where you're like, oh, and I don't mean they were evil. Okay. And I'm not backpedaling. You go, oh, you know what? This isn't going to work. You know, we all have those people. We have to go through that sometimes to find the person that we want to be with. Right. And that's what I'm saying. And I mean that sincerely.
Well, that sounds like quite the adventure. I don't think I have quite the same dating background as you. I don't know if I had an element of discernment going on or what, but most guys, it was like one and done in terms of dating. Cause it's like after the first date, it's like there's potential or there's not. I just wasn't going to waste my time.
I think, yes, women go, yes, you guys are a totally different mindset in that environment. I totally get that. And I wasn't a player. Ms. Maria did you know, I have a weird way of looking at life and it fits me. But I just enjoyed life. I was always out traveling. I was always out at the pool. I love hanging out at the pool, you know, and I'd have my grandkids with me. As you know, I watched them all the time. I mean, every day. And the thing is that I just enjoyed life. Well, women wanted to hang around because of the things I did and the travels, you know, and all that. And they wanted to share those things.
Just the way you're setting that up, it makes it sound like you had your grandkids with you the whole time you were dating.
I did. I have pictures. I kid you not. I had pictures. When I met my current wife, guess what? It was with the grandkids. The grandkids were part of my everyday life. I left women because they did not like kids. About 4 or 5 women just flat out came out and said, I don't like kids. I was like, okay, see you later. Because I was not going to put women above my grandkids or my kids. They were the world to me.
Yeah, well, you know, my line is always, I love children. They taste like chicken.
There you go. There you go. So, you know, the thing is, when you hang out the pool every day, Miss Marie, people, the single women go, well, he's got to have money or he would have a job. You know, he's got to love kids or he wouldn't watch those kids every day. Or those. And I was young enough looking that they'd say, well, are those his kids or those, what's going on here? So, you know, there was a lot of intrigue there. And unfortunately, a lot of time, you know, Miss Marie, now I did drive the cars, not the high-end car. I mean, I always had a Lexus and Audi, blah, 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 Cadillac, blah, 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 right? If you drive too fancy a car, it draws the wrong people. You know, attracts the wrong people to your life. Male and female. I've had a couple of male friends that I had to separate us because the only reason they hung around is because I was paying for things. You know what I'm saying? And we stayed at good hotels and, oh, Rob, I'll pay you. You know, when we, you know, and I know those, I'm not stupid, but as a friend, you try to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Try to give them a little rope, right? And, oh man, yeah, Rob, I got the money, and they pay the first couple times, and then all of a sudden, I don't have the money, you know, and it's like, okay, you know what, you're like a brother to me. They start playing those word games, and it's like, all right, this has got to stop, bam, you know, because the only reason they were hanging around was because of what we did and where we went and things like that. Well, I don't want to be taken advantage of.
Yep. Well, and I think this is an interesting struggle for people that make it big after working hard. I mean, you look at folks in Hollywood and Entertainment Tonight and some of these articles and stuff that come out, and people are all of a sudden best friends are coming out of the woodwork because they've made it big in Hollywood or whatever.
Oh, I know it.
The big one last week. Harry and Meghan Markle and their interview with Oprah and the woe is me. And, I kind of feel sorry for them, especially, Harry growing up the way he did. Anybody that's his friend, it's like, are they really your friend or is it because you're Prince Harry? I feel for those people because that question always has to be playing in the back of their mind.
Absolutely.
Meghan Markle, maybe a different deal. She wasn't always famous. So any friendship she's managed to maintain from prior life before becoming, B-list and then marrying into the royal family or whatever, becoming famous. Now I'm sure she has all sorts of friends, but are they real? You always wonder.
Yes, you do.
I feel sorry for them. I do on a personal level.
Yeah,
but that whole Oprah Winfrey interview, it's like, what, you've got incredibly rich people being interviewed by somebody that's ridiculously rich, and woe is me. Did you know somebody set up a GoFundMe account for them, for Harry and Meghan, to pay off their mortgage because they felt sorry for them? Like, people are going to contribute to paying off their mortgage.
No. No.
Break.
You know what? They made their own bed. They pissed off the royal family. They pissed off the patriarch. And you know what? She has the power to do that. And you know what? As the patriarch, you cannot afford to have a member of the family going out and making these comments and doing these things and rewarding them financially and everything else. So it's a delicate balance to maintain. And I don't know if it's one that's got a real answer, but I feel that I would have done the same thing. It's like, all right, y'all want to, because, they're young, they can make their own life. They have a reputation. They have a brand. Let them go out and develop their own income. I don't feel sorry for them at all. And it's a challenge we all face. It's certainly not on their level. That's for sure. I totally get what you're saying about wondering who's your friend and who's not. I definitely get that. That would be a lonely position to be in. I've had that on a small scale, and you heard a couple of stories. It's not about me, but mine's this compared to theirs. They have the world, and every time you meet somebody, well, why are they talking to me? Why are they hanging around? I totally get that. That's not something I would wish on anybody. Like I said, I had to get rid of quite a few people. But my dad taught me a great lesson. My dad had money. You would never know it we knew it as kids. The great thing is we all grew up, material things meant nothing. We lived as, if you want to use the term, rednecks. We lived in a nice neighborhood. But, if you're going to use a term, that would be the term. Nobody would ever know that my mom and my dad and my stepmom had money. And I don't mean just money, I mean big money. And my dad never bought himself anything. Never. And but the thing is, we grew up kids never talking about material things, never talking about money. And what we were taught was hard work, be responsible, invest, get out there and earn it. And as I got older, I realized just how important that approach was, because if you flaunted what you had, Miss Marie, there's no doubt. Bad people too. People that would hold you up, people that would rob you, people that would steal your car. You know what I'm saying? And there was a couple of women that scared the crap out of me. I'll be honest with you. Have you ever been around somebody you're like, oh shit, this person's crazy? You know what I'm saying? There was a couple of women.
I've seen some crazy in my day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you really didn't know what they were thinking, and you thought, oh man, have I got myself in a bad position here? I think everybody in life, if you're out and about, you run into somebody, it makes you feel very uncomfortable. And I remember one woman in particular, her friend set us up. I was interested in her friend, but her friend was not interested in me, which was fine. But she called me one day and said, hey, I got a good friend that you two would be perfect for each other. And I don't believe in blind dates at all. But I've also realized life works in weird ways, and you just got to keep an open mind. And that's, well, I'll be more than happy. And then, of course, we went out to dinner and this and that. Well, she never shut up, much like I am right now. And she just talked to, I guess it was nervous energy or whatever. And so I had a good time. But she wasn't my type. You know what I'm saying? It was not, you either have a connection or you don't. And I don't want to waste a woman's time, and I don't want to take advantage of a woman. And so I was like, okay, thinking to myself, this is, we'll get through dinner. And I had a good time. I didn't treat her bad in any way. It was a nice evening. So when it came to a close and she rode with me and I was taking her back to her car, she wouldn't get out of the car. I was like, oh, shit, what am I going to do? I said, well, why would you not get out of the car? She said, because I know where you live and what you have. I was like, oh, shit, this is really bad. Okay. Because how do you forcibly remove somebody out of your car, Miss Marie? On the female persuasion, who could call the cops?
Well, I think I would have turned the tables. I think I would have driven her to the police station and asked them to get her out of the car.
I have done that with a woman. So you know what? This other woman claims, well, I'll tell him you raped me. I was like, oh, man, So you know what? I pulled up in front of the police station and dropped her off. I said, well, there you go. That's, yeah. And, sometimes you don't know, Miss Marie, until that moment happens. And I got out of the car and I gently grabbed her hand and let her out of the car, walked her over to her car, kissed her hand, closed the door, and said, oh, thank God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. And off I went. Never talked to her again. But the reason I tell you the story is not about the girl. It was about the fact that she had found out somehow, some way where I lived and the type of life I had. And she made it clear that's the type of life I want. I was like, oh, hell no. No, you're not riding my bike. Hell no. I worked hard for that stuff. I mean, giving it away. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, and that's something to think about because, you start dating a woman and eventually you think it's going to lead towards marriage. It's like, well, picture half of your stuff gone to that person, right?
That's exactly. And you hate to think that way. But, there's men out there that'll do that too, Miss Marie. It's not just women. There's men out there that are the same freaking way. They don't want to work for it, but they'll certainly try and marry into it. And, but
people are funny. And this is why I feel sorry for Prince Harry, because he may not admit it out loud, but it's gone through his head. He's questioned whether or not Meghan Markle is his wife because of who he is and what he has.
You got it. There it is. And you can't tell me that Harry and William have not talked on the phone. William's like, what in the hell have you gotten yourself into? You know it? Because those two are tight.
Well, at least they were. I mean, who knows? I mean, you can't believe half the stuff you read anyway. So no. But I mean, look, they're brothers. You and I know they've been tight for a long time. But you're right. Whether they are now, that's a different story. Because a spouse can go between family members. We all know that. Everybody has some degree, a little bit of that in their life, or seen somebody that has. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a tough situation all the way around. But I agree with you at night. Harry's like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, when my first wife and I were going through our challenges, Miss Marie, when I laid down at night, I thought about, is she here because she wants to be, or is she here because she feels obligated? That she's afraid of the word divorce, and that's a real humbling life to live. I was not willing to live that. If I didn't know that my spouse wanted to be there, then there was no reason to be married, So I'm the one that filed for a divorce eventually. But then, we had a good talk before that, and I tried for 9 months, and she was not trying for 9 months. So it was obvious through her actions that she was not into this marriage, and it was time to call it quits and move on. And, that happens. Relationships run the course, whether it's a friendship. Sometimes they run the course. Yeah. And, that's just the way it is. You got to be smart enough and strong enough to say, well, this is over. And the last thing I ever thought, Miss Marie, is that I'd ever be divorced. I believed in the
constitution of marriage, and I believed it was lifelong. And I'll be honest with you, I did not know a person could hurt that bad, Miss Marie. I didn't realize how deep my love for her was. It crushed me. I was a bumbling mess.
Well, nobody goes into a marriage thinking they're going to get divorced, right? I mean, everybody goes into it thinking this is it. It's a lifetime commitment. Yep. I totally get that. And Joe and I, we're still both on our first marriages, and that's because I haven't yet invoked the till death do us part option.
Yeah, that's right. There it is. That's awesome. How long y'all been married?
In my mind, that's how he gets out. We've been together for almost 30 years, married for 25.
Congratulations.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. That is great to hear.
Hey, he had a last minute option. You have the rehearsal before the wedding type of thing. And we were standing there and I said at the rehearsal, I looked at him and I said, last chance, dump me now. And he just kind of looked at me and he's grinning. And I said, after tomorrow, the only way you get out of this marriage is in a body bag. And he laughs. And then he realized I wasn't joking.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've heard that from women. And you do as a guy, you're like, okay, is she, is she kidding or is she serious? Oh, and to this day, I don't know. I don't want to find out.
Well, and sometimes I'm so sarcastic, I don't know if I'm serious or not.
No,
so.
There you go. Okay, well, there's the answer.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, that divorce was, they say it's like losing a loved one. And boy, for me, it was, man. And they said, well, it takes 2 years minimum to overcome a divorce. In case you don't, unless you don't care for them, you get over it quicker. And I think a lot of times people, Miss Marie, marry too soon after a divorce, and they don't know who they are. They don't, you're a changed person. We were together for 17 years. I was definitely a different person than when we got married. So when we got a divorce, the thought of going through 2 years of pain, emotional pain, was like, oh my gosh, hopefully that's not true. Well, it ended up being true for me. But I was smart enough to not get involved with somebody else. And because I needed to find out who I was. All I knew was being a father and a husband, which was fine by me. I loved it both. But I needed to find out who I was and how I felt about things. And so it was smart. I did not do anything, for 2 years. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to get married this time. And I don't mean that like marriage wise, like I regret getting married. What I'm saying is I never thought about getting married again. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed who I was as a person. I enjoyed the lifestyle. So marriage wasn't something that I even gave thought to. But when you meet that right person, that changes, right? Mm-hmm. It's funny you said that about your husband, because who was it? The wife and her daughter. She told her son, I had to think about it, and her son-in-law, she said, you guys pick him up a half hour before the wedding. Do not let him go anywhere. Do not, because she knew how I felt about marriage. And it wasn't I was against marriage. I love being married. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it just never was on my radar anymore, And Miss Marie, when we would go to weddings as a couple before we got married, I'd get sweaty palms and I would get nervous. And she'd look at me and say, oh my gosh, you're scared to death of getting married. And I said, I know. Isn't that weird? Especially after I've been married before. But the thought of getting married again made me nervous. I think because you don't want to lose, as you said, everything. I started over once. I didn't want to start over again. And I think that was a big part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think you become gun shy because you go into your first marriage. The thought of divorce never crosses your mind. Yes. But second marriage, third, and any subsequent marriages, once you've been divorced, it's like that reality is still looming.
Yeah.
Because now as pure as your intentions may be, you go into the marriage not planning to get a divorce, but you did that last time and it ended in divorce.
Yeah.
So
yes.
That possibility is now a reality. And how could you not think about it? So
yeah, well, I hope that I really wish it wasn't a part of life, to be honest with you. because it's such a painful thing. I can't imagine people that are married 3 and 4 times. I mean, it just blows me away, Miss Marie. How do you do that? I mean,
I don't know. I think a lot of people, I mean, you made the comment about people get divorced and then they remarry again too quickly. I think there's a number of people, well, and especially in Utah, because culturally here, people get married very young and they don't date very long. So my whole thing is like, oh my goodness, you've got to date somebody for at least a year. You have to go through all the major calendar dates. You have to get exposed to the family. And it's like, granted, you're marrying that person, not their family, but you're going to be engaging with their family.
Right,
so
right. The family's part of it.
Know what you're getting into.
That's right. That's right. I agree with that. Yeah, totally.
And that takes at least a year. And I don't know how many people I've seen get married late teens, early 20s, dated for 3, 6, maybe 9 months, and they're married. And it's like, no. I mean, there are some of those people, they make it. They are the exception to the rule, though.
Yeah, small percentage. Yeah, I mean, it's painful to hear that those stories, because I agree with your assessment completely. And man, I tell you, of course, I'm the one to speak. As you know, we had our first kid at 16 and got married at 17. Went in the military at 17, so that was a whirlwind. But we were together for 17 years, you know. So obviously we were in love. You don't stay together that long and have a family if you're not, you know. Love carries you through that. You know that. Yeah. And being young, you can imagine how much we changed. I mean, you changed a lot between 17 and 21, much less up to in the 30s. So we obviously were in love, and I'm glad that, in hindsight, I'm glad, because I see people that didn't have kids until they were in their 30s, and they're going to be in their 50s when they're teenagers. And I don't know about you, I don't want to deal with those teenage years when I'm in my 50s. All I can say is good luck.
It's one of those things. It's funny. We're turning into a dating podcast, but some of the young women and the girls in my life, I tell them, it's like, you know, have fun in high school. Don't get into these serious relationships, especially the girls, because I'm sorry, guys, you, in my mind, you're not anywhere near grown up until you're into your young 20s, you know, teenagers up to about, 23, 25. It's like, just don't spend your time, because my whole point is you're figuring out your life as an individual. You're going from high school into college into a career. Figure out who you want to be, what you want to do. Some of those decisions and some of that experience is difficult enough when all you have to worry about is yourself. When you're bringing a whole nother person into the equation and you have to take into account that relationship and that whole thing too, it's just a whole nother level of complications. Why do you want that?
No, you know what? I agree with you.
I mean, I went out on dates in high school, but it's like, no, I'm not dating in high school. It's just, I'm sorry, I got other things going on.
Yeah. We were able to do that.
I don't need a guy messing up stuff.
Yeah, we do that very well. No, I totally agree with what you're saying. Look, number one, I'm not a big guy fan, even though I'm a guy. I have very few guy friends. They get on my nerves, and I don't have much patience for them. And I've always gotten along with women better. And I can see guys for what they are. So I totally agree with you. If I was a woman, I don't know if I would ever get married or not, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd want to put up with the guy. So there's my assessment of that. But obviously, I understand guys because I am one, and I can understand the reason you make the comments you do, and I don't blame you a bit. And I think that was a great approach that you have. I didn't get my act together until I was 28, and I was in the military for 11 years, and I don't mean as an individual, because you don't survive 11 years in the military if you don't have your act together. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying really knowing what I wanted to do with my life, really understanding my role in life, even though I was a husband and a father. There's more to life than being a husband and father, and your military career is going to come to an end. And a lot of the guys that were in the military was their life, Miss Marie. When they retired, a lot of them died 5 years after they retired because they didn't know what to do with themselves.
Mm.
You know, they were so used to people telling them what to do, where to go, what to say, and everything was provided for them. They did not know how to function when they got out. And a lot of them sat on the couch and pretty much drank themselves to death. There was as many reasons, but it's a statistical fact that for the military anyway, I can't speak for other businesses, but a large percentage of the retirees died within 5 years after retiring. I was like, hell, piss on that. I'm not dying 5 years. I'm getting the hell out of here, and I'm going to remain active. And that's what I did. But I didn't make the military my number one thing. You know what I'm saying? I did other things, you know, real estate, network marketing. I prepared myself for life afterwards. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to have a plan. It's kind of like watching professional sports players. The NFL in particular comes to mind. A lot of those guys, you know, they get involved at a very young age in the NFL. They get that big money contract and they think their career is going to last forever, and they don't plan ahead. They don't manage their money well. And then you see the smarter players that realize, hey, there's a small window of opportunity here. I also need to prepare for life after football. I mean, Peyton Manning comes to mind, right? Yep. I mean, I think he's probably one of the smartest guys to play the game, just in general, not just from a strictly football perspective. But I think from the time he came out of the University of Tennessee into the NFL, he was kind of planning his next step beyond that. And he had a long NFL career. And I don't know that he originally thought his career would go that long. I think there's always that hope. But there's the reality that injury, whatever can happen, can end your career overnight, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think he leveraged his popularity very well with advertising and all that kind of stuff. So
yes. And I'd give credit to their dad for that, because their dad was a very smart guy. He did the same thing. He has a life after the NFL, and he was one of the all-time greats. And Eli's done the same thing. And you know what cracks me up is Eli and Peyton get along so well, but they have a warped sense of humor. I can only imagine what it's like to be around them on a daily basis. You're probably peeing in your pants. You're laughing so hard. And
you get a little taste of that in some of the commercials. That
do. And they have that sarcastic smile about them too, both of them. You know, they'll say something and you're like, did he mean that or not? You know. I had a guy that worked for me, Miss Marie. I told him, I said, dude, you missed your call, and you would have been a legend as a comedian. You ever met somebody that tickled your funny bone and made you laugh so hard you cry? I mean, genuinely. You know, there's a lot of times I laugh, and I'm not saying it's a false laugh, but I mean, you laugh at the situation, or you laugh at, you know, the timing of the joke or whatever. This guy was funny. I don't care if you were in a bathroom. You would pee all over the toilet because you were laughing so hard. That dude was a mile a minute, and he was so good. And he was such he was a great orator, but the timing of his words, and he would use complex words in a simplistic way, and your mind would be warped over the fact that he was able to use these words in a comedic way that would make you just laugh your butt off. I mean, he worked for me. I had to tell him, I said, Nico, you got to stop, man. We got a job to do. You know, we can't be sitting here laughing our butts off. You know, the commander, because we work right down the hall from the commander. We work directly for the commander. And I told him, I said, dude, he's going to come down here wondering, what in the hell are you guys doing? You know, why are you guys laughing all the time? And man, he was so funny, Miss Marie. I don't even know how to explain it. I've met some funny people in my time, but this guy was the top. He was unbelievable. And there was a couple times the commander came down there and he'd look at us. He'd stand at the door and he'd look and he would shake his head. We're all pretty tight. Me, Nico, and the commander. We did some really important work for him. So he knew where his bread was buttered, you know. But the point is that he there every once in a while he'd come down. He wouldn't say anything. And he would just shake his head. I guess he could hear what Nico was saying. I don't know. Because in the military, you really can't close the doors. I mean, they don't want you closing the doors. There's a counseling session going on, as you can imagine. But can you imagine that, Miss Marie? I mean, being around somebody that makes you laugh like that all the time?
Hey, you got to enjoy your work. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
You could take any subject, make it funny. I mean, if I was on my deathbed and he was to come visit me, I'd be laughing in my last breath. I mean, that's how funny he was. And, is that an individual thing? I mean, would you not find him as funny? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not everybody's universally funny to everyone else, right?
well, exactly. Everybody has a unique sense of humor, right? I'm sure there are comedians out there that people think are really funny, and other people look at them and go, meh.
Yeah, well, that's me. Like Will Ferrell. I mean, I have a few moments where I think it's funny. I definitely admire his talent. Same thing with Adam Sandler. I have nothing against either one of them as individuals or anything else. It's just like you said, their comedic approach and talents don't do a thing for me. But man, you get me to watch. What is that? What is that with Nielsen? What, buddy? Naked Gun.
Oh, Naked Gun.
Oh my gosh! In Pink Panther with Peter Sellers, the wife just thinks I'm crazy, and so do my grandkids. They're like, "That is not funny." I'm rolling on the floor, literally almost peeing in my pants. It's so funny to me, especially Naked Gun. I mean, I'll watch that. I'll watch all three of them and just laugh my butt off. I love that slapstick, and I know it's not for everybody, but isn't that funny how Will Ferrell and them don't do it for me, but I can watch Naked Gun and laugh my butt off.
And it also depends on your mood too, I think. So.
It does. Well, there's a rule around here. The wife, as long as the wife's home, I can't watch Naked Gun, Airplane, Pink Panther. She's like, no. But she's not the only one. There was a couple girls I dated. They were the same way. They're like, no, I ain't watching that. You probably wouldn't either, would you?
No, I like slapstick. I mean, I still enjoy the Three Stooges when I catch them on television.
Oh my gosh, I'm a big fan of the Stooges. Yes. Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
Costello.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, those are
those are classics. Those are some of my favorites, man.
Yeah, some of the favorite. Well, there you go.
The old Carol Burnett show going on.
Yeah. The wife was watching some of that this morning with Tim Conway. It was funny.
Some of those are my favorites. So like the Carol Burnett show, and even like I guess the current one would be Saturday Night Live. Some of my favorite ones, and what I think is oftentimes the funniest, is when they're making each other laugh and they're trying to stifle the laugh as they're doing their skit.
Yeah,
that
is. Well, you and I grew up with the greatest SNL lineup of all time when they had Belushi and
Gilda
Radner and Chase,
Chevy
Murray,
Chase, Bill Murray,
Dan Aykroyd,
Steve Martin,
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, my gosh, Marie, that was a lineup that has not been equal to this day. Each one of those guys, legendary in their own way and on a scale that's probably not been matched to this day. I think the last of the greats in Saturday Night Live was Candy and Chris Farley.
Yeah, Chris Farley was a good one too.
Yeah. That was towards the tail end, because if you notice, a lot of the comedians, and there were still some, but not on the level of the other guys, but there was fewer and far between. When we mentioned Belushi and Chase and Aykroyd, I mean, all those guys were there within a 3 to 5 year time period, all working together. Yep. And that was funny as crap every week. You couldn't miss an episode. But as time went along, there was just Candy and a few other characters, or Farley and a few other characters. And Gilda Radner got swallowed up, and she was a great talent. Jane Curtin was there with Gilda Radner, remember? Mm-hmm. And those poor women got swallowed up in that overwhelming talent, not because they were men, just there were so many other comedians that just happened to be men that just overshadowed. Because, the girls couldn't say something and do some of the things because of society back then. They couldn't do some of the things that the guys were doing. Guys had more leeway. And So it was pretty funny, because let's be honest, guys could wear certain outfits that women couldn't back in those days. It's pretty funny, because let's be honest, guys could wear certain outfits that women couldn't back in those days, so they limited their roles on what they could do. And, but man, you and I watched some. Did you watch Saturday Night Live back then?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You saw a lot of the great ones of that. Yeah. I mean, you never knew what they were going to do. I mean, some of that stuff they couldn't do today because people would get so offended. Remember Eddie Murphy doing Buckwheat?
Oh, good God. People are offended by Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head now.
I know it. That's crazy. Well, did you know that the Hasbro got such a backlash they brought Mr. Potato Head back?
Sure.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. Not that I just happened to see that the other day. They got such a backlash. They were like, whoa, okay, we stepped on the wrong toes.
Well, yeah, it's great. It's great advertising for them, if nothing else, right? As long as you don't cave to the cancel culture.
Yeah. You know what I got to say about cancel culture?
Yeah. Canceled.
All right. Cancel this. All right. So, well, if you're having troubles with dating or life in general, listen to today's episode again.
Or don't.
Well, you know what? You every once in a while you got to have these kind of episodes because we do talk. We had a good week. We talked Monday through Thursday. We talked a lot of good content. Matter of fact, I got the list right here because Miss Marie mails it to me each and every week. Episode number 146, which was Monday, was Network Marketing by the Numbers, Part 1. Part 2 was on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, Monitoring the Back Office. Okay. And Thursday, yesterday, was Motivating Successful People in Your Business. So there's a lot of great content there. Miss Marie, on Monday, we're going to be talking about personal accountability, guys. Personal accountability, yep. Do not want to miss that episode. And you know what? As we talked about, guys, a lot of people think, Miss Marie, as we close, that the 90-day mini blast is a daunting part of the business. It's phase one. And physically, mentally, I could see where it could be a challenge. But really, the rubber meets the road because this business is all about leaders. You know that. And phase 2, finding and working with leaders, I think is the most challenging because you're dealing with such a diverse group of people. And sometimes the language can be a barrier. Sometimes the cultural background they came from could be a barrier. Even if they're all on the same page with you culturally and everything else, them as individuals can be a challenge. And working with those leaders, man, can be tough. And you know what, Miss Marie, you focus so hard on them because you realize, okay, this is what it's all about. I got to get this right. If my business is going to go to exponential growth, this phase 2 is where it's at. This is where rubber meets the road. You forget about your own personal accountability of continuing to do the right things yourself. And Monday, we're going to be talking about that.
I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good show and going to have a good week next week. So looking forward to that.
I agree with that 100%. So don't miss it, guys. Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always. And if you will, just to let you know, as we close out, there's our beta test registration page. You can go there, okay, and you can see the URL right there. Matter of fact, if you go to the website, you'll see highlighted in purple, coming soon, lead site. All you do is click on that link. It'll take you to the registration page. When you register, you're going to get the free I Need Leads Now ebook plus bonuses, surprise bonuses. Guys, if you are looking for the future of a lead generation system that will constantly produce pre-qualified, high-quality leads 24/7 for just about any opportunity, you want to get on that list so that you have a chance of becoming a beta tester. So all you got to do is go to the website, click the purple link, or go to the URL you see on the screen right there. Also, if you want to know, you're going to have the ability to get the what not to do in network marketing, 146 paragraphs, 146 audio files, and many training videos. Miss Marie's this is her favorite product. And all you have to do, guys, is just go there. And guess what? You just go to our website. You'll see it on the front page, and you will be able to get this special right here. You do not want to miss that. It's a limited time, only 24 hours on that pricing. And finally, you want to watch a replay of today's episode or yesterday's episode, go to our replay page. All you got to do is look once again at the top of our website. You'll see where it says podcast replay. And this week, the free gift is MLM. It's a numbers game. You got to do, and when you guys request something free from us, you're not going to get a bunch of emails that are sales emails. We do not do that. I don't like it. Miss Marie doesn't like it. We're not going to do that to you. So there you go, Miss Marie. As we close out, anything you got to say before I hit the button?
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
That says it all right there. She's like, get the crap out of here. Talk to y'all later. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
Thank you for listening to the MLM Solution Podcast. For more info, visit our website, themlmsolution.net. Please follow us on the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, etc. And share this podcast with our fellow network marketers around the world by hitting the share button on our various platforms.